health product researcher and consultant on all kinds of technologies and equipment and products. My email is right below in my description, so you can always reach out anytime if you have questions. That's the best way to get in contact with me. So over the last 15 years, I've always been distilling and looking for what are the best sorts of modalities, therapeutic agents, things like that that really move the needle. And also in each product category, what's the best in class. I'm the 95-5 guy. I'm looking for the 5% that are the best of the best. Okay. And so I have many different ways I actually go through that process of review and research. In this video, I want to highlight the importance of not just glutathione, but what I think is actually the best glutathione on the market that only became really available just in the last couple of years. And after being developed essentially for about 12 years. So it took quite some time. And we're going to get into what that is, or this product. This is the consumer label version. And there's a link below in the description. And then there's also a professional label version that can only be purchased through practitioners. It's just a different label, same stuff. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to say is if you're not familiar with glutathione, that your body does produce it. It's one of the most important molecules in the body. It's involved in like everything. So one of the best ways to get up to speed, besides just watching some really great YouTube videos out there that talk about glutathione, and there really are some good ones, this is probably the best book out there, that's the most like comprehensive guide, so to say. Literally, it's in the title. Yeah, it's $45. It is definitely worth it, but it's free here, which I thought was pretty amazing. If you get the Kindle version, which is pretty cool, you can read on your computer or whatever. So I would recommend this. Dr. Jimmy Gutman is like for sure one of the foremost experts with glutathione. There's a lot of supplements out there in the world. I'm always looking for really the best of the best. A good place to start with supporting yourself in every area of health is going to be making sure that your glutathione levels are optimized throughout the course of your life. Okay. Now, having said that, there's many ways to do that. You see videos that talk about like lifestyle and exercise and other things with your lifestyle that are important or that preserve your levels. That's all really important to get into line. Then there's also like different sorts of substances from hydrogen to precursors, different things that your body will take essentially, and it'll either protect your levels of glutathione or help you make more and increase the levels. Glutathione is one of the more well-studied out of all supplements and modalities. 165 plus, and always counting, 1,000 studies. 165,000 and always counting. There's tons more always happening. It's unbelievable how much we have to know about it and how it works in the body. There are so many things that are involved health-wise with dysfunctions, not producing enough in different tissue types and different areas. So many different conditions, okay, that are related or that somebody becomes a risk factor for over time with declining levels. And just like a lot of things, there is definitely some significant declining every 10 years, especially past the age of 40. So this is definitely something you want to pay attention to. Now, one supplement that you may, so I'm not going to, in this video, by the way, get into deeply on just how amazing glutathione supplementation is therapeutically, and how important it is. There's a lot of other things you can get into. But I will throw out a couple real quick facts here, like, did you know that really one link where a lot of people have tissue hypoxia, which leads to a lot of things over time, a lot of things, there's a big cascade of changes actually, is one, not having enough of an active lifestyle is definitely one. Eating really bad food is definitely another one too. Not sleeping well or having apnea or other things like that, snoring, that's definitely one too. But the other one that's really a big piece is declining glutathione levels. Because glutathione is actually involved in making hemoglobin when it first is produced, okay, with your blood cell, giving it the ability to bind on and hold on to oxygen. And most people don't even know that, okay? So they're doing all these oxidative therapies or doing all these other things, and really they haven't even assessed their glutathione status first, okay? So that can be a lot of the underlying causes of tissue hypoxia and or a great protocol addition to helping the body get more oxygen, which of course has a huge cascade of effects once you start to fix that equation a little bit. A lot of people also on top of it don't have a lot of blood, not producing enough, from a Chinese medicine perspective. Or number two, they have an iron issue, or they have an anemic issue, or whatever. I mean, there's other things that can exacerbate the issue even more so. So it's just as fundamental. That's what I'm saying. It's so fundamental with that. There's several mitochondrial essential aspects that it plays in protecting the mitochondria and mitochondria biogenesis. There's so many important, crucial things with that. And so that's a major thing linked to a lot of different conditions, mitochondrial dysfunctions, all kinds of stuff, as well as other things that could just damage the DNA and lead to also all kinds of issues, not just cancers and things like that. And what's the biggest protector of all of that? What about the immune system, declining immune system? People talk about different aspects of that. Well, what actually protects the immune system? If you take one step above that, right? Well, gosh, that's probably more important than all the other immune-related things and the supplements. Yeah, glutathione, frontline defense for your immune system. Okay, response plays different sorts of roles with T cells and B cells and all kinds of things. So many different things. Breakdown in different endothelial and cell membrane oxidation, all these things related to arterial sclerosis and all kinds of other related. You can go on and on and on and on and on about the role it plays and also how unique it is in terms of the different things it does. So this is a great book and other things, and you start to realize, okay, well, if I'm up for anti-aging, longevity, or healing myself from long-term COVID or all these other different things, glutathione is probably one of the better things that I should be prioritizing. That's the conclusion you come to, essentially. Most people do. But then you're left with, okay, well, how do I really optimize those levels? So let me break it down very quickly and very simply. Long-term, GlyNAC, which is glycine and N-acetylcysteine. These are amino acids, okay? And you can read up on it. There's plenty of good videos on it, by the way, guys. And this one is a really good one. It's had as a specific form of NAC, which is definitely more absorbable. I like it. This is a good one. The other one that I really like is Jarrow brand, Jarrow, called NAC Sustain. NAC Sustain. And it has a long multi-hour sustain of NAC. Okay, special tablets. That's cool. Now, I do that in combination with collagen, because collagen, if you're doing 20, 30 grams a day, which I recommend, you're going to get a huge amount of glycine, a lot. So you already got your glycine covered, which is awesome, in your collagen, and now you're just throwing in some extra NAC. And again, I like it to be sustained, because if you look at the studies, when you take just straight up NAC, your blood levels will spike like for an hour or whatever it is, and then come down pretty rapidly. So this is definitely more bioavailable. It's a good one here if you're not doing collagen. So definitely check it out. So anyways, let me look at the benefits here. So when they talk about all these benefits and you're like, oh my God, this is kind of like a ton of stuff. This has got to be one of the better things out there. Well, yeah, from the perspective that how is it able to do all these things? That's the question you have to ask. Oh yeah, because mainly, it's not the only way, but mainly the reason it's able to affect all these areas dramatically is because it's increasing your amount of glutathione available, okay? That's really what's doing it. So they list glutathione production, but it's not really the best way this should have been explained. Really, most of these benefits are due to the glutathione production increase, okay? And the list would be also much, much longer, but they can't put everything on here and overwhelm people. But glutathione does a lot more. So really, this is good for... it's a fair statement to basically say that glutathione and really this, because of an increasing glutathione production, probably belongs in almost any health protocol. That's a fair statement. And there's not a lot of things, okay? There's not a lot of things where you could make that statement. Yeah. So like hydrogen, I also make that statement. I love hydrogen. It's great stuff. But anyway, so there's a couple different ways. So this is one way, and I do like this idea of cycling this long term for a variety of reasons, acute conditions to just anti-aging longevity, all kinds of situations. Now, what's the best? Okay, so if you take glutathione straight up, it breaks down. You get very minimum. It does almost nothing for you if you just take normal reduced glutathione. You can nebulize it, which is inhaling it. Pretty good, not bad. However, just to be perfectly clear, when you're bringing it into the body like that, and it goes into the bloodstream through the pulmonary, and or you're doing an IV of it, people think like, oh, the glutathione goes in my body and then goes into the cells. It'd be like, that would actually be amazing if that was the case. But no, when it goes into the bloodstream, it breaks down to its tripeptides forms. Okay, so there's 3 amino acids that are used to create, okay, glutathione, right? So people don't realize that. These other forms, they go into the bloodstream, then they break down, and then the body still has to take those amino acids and then turn them into glutathione, manufacture that, okay? Which is still very therapeutic, don't get me wrong, but those routes or those methods are more expensive. That's one thing, okay? Now, some people inject it, which is good too. But again, it breaks down. Your body has to, again, put it into the other form, things like that. So it's good. Not a lot of people want to use needles and deal with that whole thing, okay? And again, it can get pricey as well, but it definitely is great for you. Great stuff. Basically, anything that boosts glutathione is fantastic. But basically, that is another method. And then there's this method, taking some of these precursor amino acids, which is really proving to be very good because the body can control how much it uses and manufactures in different parts of the body, which is always changing and fluctuating. So that's why this is really, really good long term. Now here I want to highlight this form here, which is the best of the best as far as for certain situations. So now I think what used to be the best was Quicksilver Scientific's liposomal glutathione. There's technically another brand of liposomal glutathione out there, and I think they also do a white label, so there might be 3. But basically, there's probably like 2, 3 liposomal versions. This is not on the screen right now. This is not a liposomal version. Okay, this is the professional label. This is not a liposomal version. It's better. Liposomes you can read up on and very quickly and easily on Google, but it's basically taking a phospholipid matrix, type of fat matrix, and encapsulating it on a nano scale. So it's like a bubble made out of these fats, the same type of fats that make up your membranes of cells. And they're putting glutathione or other sorts of molecules, other things, other supplements, inside of those for better delivery. Okay? Does it bypass the digestive tract? Yes. Can it get into the bloodstream? Can it get to cells very easily? Yes. It's very good. There's some research that came out this year about potentially some phospholipid clumping and things like that, and delivery being better than a lot of things, but also being sometimes some challenges depending on how it biotrained the body and things like that. But it's still very, very good. And it's also much more affordable than those other methods. So it's better and more affordable than those other methods. And when it delivers that glutathione, it's more intact as is, so it can be more rapidly used. Okay, so it's good stuff. What is significantly better, though, and very few people know about, that took 12 years, is they wanted to figure out this company named Neumi, and my link is below if you want to check them out and try some of the products. This is the consumer retail brand. If you are a member, by the way, you get a little bit of a discount, and there's no cost to being a member and joining. Okay. But anyways, we'll go back to this nice picture here. So over the last 12 years, after $2 million, they wanted to figure out, they put all that money into trying to find how could they nanize glutathione down to 10 nanometers and get it to suspend into water molecules so that it would be shelf stable and your body could hydrate without water and taking glutathione and to be used immediately as is. Wasn't an easy task. So they have a very proprietary method to make water 30 times more pure than IV water. So pure that if they introduced any molecule into that pure water, it'll just, if it's at the right size, there's almost like a grabbing. It grabs on to whatever those particulate is, or molecules are, and it suspends it. Works like magic. It was complicated to figure out. So it's a breakthrough. And it's actually just a breakthrough in delivering supplements, actually. So there will be more things coming, which is cool. Actually, there's a couple additional things in the topical spray we'll get into where they use the same technology. So what's inside this guy? So we have glutathione. I forget, it's like 1 billion molecules or whatever in like a little cap of it, whatever it is. And that's in the water. You get about 28 milligrams worth in the dosage. And people are like, oh my God, that's a small amount. It's like, well, yes, if you compared it to other larger molecule glutathione, okay? Like if you were injecting it or nebulizing it or whatever, you get the idea. It doesn't need to be a large amount because the body can use it as is, and the surface area of activity is greater, okay? So when things get smaller, their surface area increases. You can Google it. Okay, so surface area activity has a lot to do with signal transduction and more activity for enzymes and just all kinds of different metabolic functions. So surface area and what's happening on the surface area of different things in the body is important. There's a lot of things to break down here. So basically the surface area, so let's talk about activity level, okay? So compared to large molecule glutathione, the surface area activity potential of large molecule glutathione is about the surface area of a soccer ball in this analogy. This, in one dosage, is the surface area of about 120 something football fields worth of active surface area. Massive difference. That's what happens when you bring things down to 10 nanometers. So there's a lot of activity in here for whatever your body needs to do. Okay, there's plenty for whatever your body needs in your daily dosing, which is just a couple times a day. All right. So what else is in here that they also suspend? Okay, and this white paper that gets into it and explains all of this, I am happy to share with you. Okay. I wanted to scroll down and see if they happen to show the ingredients here. No worries, no big deal. So basically in here, they also put in not just glutathione, the minute you're swishing with it and then swallowing, it's being instantly used as cells can hydrate and bring it, because it's small enough, across the cell membrane. It's like almost as part of the hydration mechanism of a cell. It can be used outside and inside the cells instantly, okay? Literally, people, I've seen them sample and be like, I'm feeling something happening in my brain. It's absolutely true. It's working. It literally can go into your mouth, into your brain. It's that fast. So what else is in there? Extra L-cysteine. So one of the big challenges of the body not producing enough glutathione is it's hard to get enough L-cysteine in the diet. It's a certain amino acid. You can read up on why and that whole thing, okay? That's why NAC, N-acetylcysteine, it's a great source of cysteine when we talked about that other supplement, okay? That's one reason why it's really helpful as a main precursor for, it's like easier to come by glycine, for example, and glutamate and these things. So there is extra L-cysteine in here for helping with endogenous production. It is also in the same form, nano suspended. Then they added in some curcumin in the same delivery mechanism. So what I'm also saying is that curcumin in here is actually one of the best curcumins on the market. Okay, you don't need a lot of it to have a big effect. And that's also just curcumin. Just look up curcumin and glutathione research. It's synergistic, helps the liver, related to glutathione. It also helps some of the action of glutathione, and vice versa. Glutathione is synergistic with some of the action of curcumin. Anyway, so those are a couple additional things in there. And it's very easy to administer. Again, it's shelf-stable. So this one over here, that's the spray, and that is fully transdermal because of the form it's in water, nanosuspended. So you get glutathione directly into any dermal layer, including the tissues underlying the dermis, underlying the skin layers, basically. And it could be active and available for any type of cell. And by the way, every cell works with glutathione. Okay, so it can be available. So first off, that's already a game changer and like a one-of-a-kind thing in the entire skincare industry. Then on top of it, they're like, well, what are the other top two amazing things, right? For our skin healing, anti-aging, blah, blah, blah. Hyaluronic acid and collagen. They use the same thing. They brought it to the 10 nanometers, suspended in water. So now you're getting those two amazing nutrient compounds, okay, that are also essential for all the dermal layers. And it can go right on through completely. That means it's bioactive and more bioavailable than any other collagen and hyaluronic in the entire skincare market. And then all you got to do is spray. Literally, how easy. Spray on skin, and guess what? It's going through. Now I have some infrared thermal imaging. If anybody wants to see, you can just email me. My email is below, where you can actually see in real time, within an hour, major changes in microcirculation into tissues, inflammation markers changing. Wow. So it's not just having an effect on the skin, the body's like, wait a minute, let me bring some of that deeper, and so it actually brings it deeper, and it can go right to the bloodstream, and so you see these big changes on people. It's crazy on infrared thermal imaging just from the spray alone. In other words, it's so good, it's almost like it's like a fantastic internal supplement. But really, this is the guy for all the big internal changes. So now let's talk about something. This is so good at giving your body as much glutathione as it needs, and I mean that. As much as it needs, this can supply it. It's a powerhouse. You see miracles with this stuff. Now, does that mean like you should take it every day? No. Okay? So just to be clear, right? Just because it's amazing and it can do miraculous things, glutathione is one of those things in this form, okay? In other words, perfectly usable as is glutathione. You don't want to be overdosing that all the time because the body has to control redox and oxidation, okay? So you can read up on that, okay? So this is this thing tightly controlled that influences all kinds of things, really important stuff. Cellular signaling mechanisms, you name it. So you can get almost a redox stress. That means you're reducing so much oxidation. Now, it's true, most people have a lot of oxidative stress and inflammation underlying so many different conditions. That certainly is the norm. I would agree with that statement, okay? And generally, this needs to be addressed through multiple mechanisms. Okay, now that all said, you can have a product where you can reduce it so well when you really dial things in that you're reducing it too much. You can actually go the other way. And so this product is actually so good that you can actually conceivably do that. Which is, it's awesome to even say that because it's so like one of a kind that that's possible. So, okay, so what does that bring us to? Basically, that depending on the case, okay, depending on their health status, lab panels, symptoms, health goals, lifestyle, you just have to factor in a lot of stuff, okay? Other modalities they're doing, things like that, right? It will depend on if somebody needs to do this or they don't need to do it, or how much and how long they should work with these products, okay? So most people, they need to work with this product occasionally. That's a fair statement. Most people, with what most people have going on, okay? And mostly how their lifestyle is. Again, you shouldn't be taking it every day for months and months and months and months and months and months. I'm not necessarily advocating that. What I am advocating usually is using this in a certain cycle where you're cycling it between this and the GlyNAC product, okay? GlyNAC, okay? Cycling it. And then periodically you're doing pushes, if you want to call it that, where you're doing a bottle or two, okay, of this, depending on what you're doing, okay? So some people, again, so how do you know? Well, you can reach out, let me know what's going on with you, what your goals are, and I can ask you a bunch of questions and tell you like how much of this might be good, when and where, how you might want to cycle it, stuff like that. And I can give you some guidance on that. You can also talk to a functional medicine or really integrated trained practitioner who is aware of glutathione, who's educated in that world of things. And definitely minimum functionally trained. If you don't know what that means, Google functional medicine, okay? Holistically trained, naturopath, whatever, okay? And they need to like understand this stuff. And they can basically reflect back to you like, okay, how long would you take something like that? And then when would you maybe do it? And then you'd cycle between the GlyNAC and things like that. Give yourself precursors, pop back over, use this. So like for me, I'm really dialed in and I like to stay optimum. So I'll actually do a bottle or two. Usually like one bottle every 3 months or every 4 months, I might do a bottle, okay? Now, if I'm doing a detox protocol and I'm really pushing a lot of stuff out, glutathione is amazing for helping people move a lot of nasty toxins out in an extremely rapid period of time. Because when you move a lot of toxins out, especially people's elimination pathways, first off, they haven't even gotten any tests. Most people don't even get tests. They have no idea how their elimination pathways are doing. And then they're like, I'm going to mobilize toxins. And they're like, okay, you can get yourself into trouble there. So glutathione, though, is certainly a way to keep you out of trouble. But what I was going to say is it helps with some of those elimination pathways in many ways. So you're able to actually mobilize more and help your body fully eliminate and also protect the body. So just because you're mobilizing toxins, if your body's not really dialed in and prepared with resources, you could also be damaging yourself at the same time. You could be moving toxins into different areas of your body. You get the idea. So this is a really useful tool when you're trying to move out a lot in a shorter period of time. And again, you want to protect the body. You don't want to deal with much of a herxing, things like that, which is usually a sign, by the way, you're moving things too fast and you don't have enough resources for eliminating toxins, or there's some problems with your elimination pathways. Okay, so this is an amazing, amazing tool for people that want to like do these annual, detoxes. And I also have a lot of research, by the way, on detox protocols, detox kits, things like that. There's so many out there, and they're like anything, there are big differences between them. Some are amazing, some are terrible, some are like super mediocre that are trendy, okay? And some that people don't even know about are like some of the best out there. It's really, really hard to figure out. It just takes time. And I know a lot of detox specialists that have done everything under the sun for decades. Like it really takes like knowing these people and knowing like trying all kinds of things with clients and people over decades. So that's how you figure out a lot of this stuff basically, and what actually like really works and moves stuff efficiently. Okay. But there are literally ways to like do things in 7 days that beat out by far a 40-day water fast and all these crazy things. Like there's things you could do in a very short window of time, but how do you shrink the lysosome inside of a cell and actually reset that function? Like almost nobody's talking about that because it's, you discover these things, but it does take like specialty supplements where you can actually do things like that. So getting back to the glutathione product. So yeah, I cycle this. It depends on the person's needs. For a lot of people, they usually need to start with something like this, 1, 2, 3 bottles max usually, and then switch over into GlyNAC. Maybe and check out their lab panels in certain areas like a few months later and see how things improve. That's a pretty common entry point. And there's some exceptions to that where somebody might do like just 1 bottle and then switch over to GlyNAC. But you generally are going to be somebody who's pretty dialed in a lot of ways and have been taking care of yourself for a while. And then depending on how often you need to cycle with things like that. But most people you need to use a few and then cycle off. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else I wanted to cover on this. Anyways, that's pretty much it for now. If you are a practitioner and you want to order this stuff by the case, and you can also sell this for as much as you want, which is another nice advantage of that, let me know. I can send you what that pricing and discounts look like. The reorder rate on this product in general is in the upper 90s. That's how much of a difference people feel on this product. I mean, it's actually one of the stronger products I've tried, and just modalities. It's actually one of the stronger modalities I've tried. It's definitely up there. So I was actually shocked because I was working with different forms of glutathione in the past. I obsessively work with hydrogen and other things that help raise those levels, all kinds of stuff. So I was like, I don't know about this product. But man, when I tried it halfway through the bottle, I was like, oh my God, this is doing some stuff. Like I was shocked. So it is, if you've tried other glutathiones in the past, you've done these other things, just give a bottle. I would just say, just give a bottle a try. You might be one of these people that just need to do those pushes every few months and just get a major up level every single time and upshift. But yeah, high reorder rate. The practitioner version is something they can only order through you, the practitioner. And then this is the, remember, this is the, just anybody can order this. They do have an affiliate backend on there. Doesn't cost anything. You can just become a member. And then if you ever want to refer your link to people, they can order from you and things like that. So that's kind of nice. Some people want to do that. If anybody just wants to get a discount, which why not? I would suggest you just basically roll over here and just do this option because you'll just save immediately $15 off the cost of a bottle. So I really don't even know why they have this. It's kind of weird. But anyways, and they just make everybody name members. You just have to go on to an auto ship to get that discount. But as you know, the smarter thing is to do these cycles. So you might as well buy like a multi-pack as a member so you can actually get a good discount when you get a multi-pack and on top of the member discount. That's really kind of the best way to do it, and that way you can kind of control yeah, you can just kind of control like how much and when you want to take those bottles, and then you can get a discount or you can share them with somebody else or something like that. Anyways, better deals over here. So that's all I'm saying. If y'all have any questions about this, again, my link is right below in the description of the video, and also my email address. Definitely prioritize glutathione in terms of part of your overall health thing. Okay, it doesn't matter what your goals are. It doesn't matter what the protocol is. Look into it. Get your levels more optimized in general. Always include it, in my opinion. The research is definitely there. It's very impressive. Get better educated. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.